Hey, what the hell are you doing walking around dressed like Star Wars?
It's Comic-Con, you idiot. We're going to the Javits Center.
Well, you're the idiots, because you three guys would never be walking together.
Yeah, you're his boss, and you two guys are enemies.
Yeah, bite me, Captain Kirk.
Hey, whoa, come on. No, that's Star Trek.
Yeah, that's two different franchises.
Yeah, sorry, guys. She doesn't know.
Nah, it's okay. I'm sorry you have to deal with that.
Let's go.
Oh, hey, come on. It's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. Not worth it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fanzone Debate. This is an exciting one. It's a title match to kick off the rest of the season. We just had some time off as Virtual Survivor Season 2 was airing. Hope you loved the season. It was a good one. But now we're kicking off Fanzone Debate for the rest of the year, and we're kicking off with a title match. Amaru Moses is here to challenge for the title. He got this title shot for winning the Last Word event. Earlier in the season, though, it looked like he might not need it. He went on in the first title picture to challenge for the belt. It didn't work out for him in that one. He went up against Kirk, lost to Kirk in that match. And Kirk is still the champ, has had a great season. Beat Rue, beat Brian, and then also Nazario. So he's 3-0 on the season against three really great players, and now he's got to try Rue once again. Rue's been everywhere this season, all over the place, doing all the challenges and the things. It's going to be interesting to see how this one goes. Let's get opening thoughts. Let's start. Mark, how you doing? And what do you think of this? We're seeing Rue and Kirk again. Your thoughts?
Oh yeah, this is good. Little peek behind the scenes. I don't know. It was like it was never going to happen, but hey, we're here. And we're doing it. So cool. No, this should be very interesting. I always like coming and see Rue play here. He always I feel like he always has neat ways of kind of defending his questions, bringing that up. So I think it makes him a very interesting competitor for almost anybody to go up against. And then, we've seen Kirk here a million times. Kirk is one of the mainstays here. He's very good. It should be a good match.
Brian, welcome. How are you? And your thoughts on this match?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. These are two of the best debaters we have in the league that we've ever had around here, which is what title match should be. Although you did just remind me that Kirk beat me, so I went ahead and pre-filled out my board. So I'm good. So
I saw you writing. Right? I was wondering what you were writing.
Yeah. No. These guys are both great, and even if I wasn't judging, this is one I would definitely tune in for because this is gonna be fun.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's get into it. We'll start by talking to the challenger, Mr. Amaru Moses. Rue, you are back in this in this realm. You've had a very good season in debate. Well, everywhere, but in debate as well. Good matches. Really, really great season. I just can't stress it enough. And you're back to play Kirk again. And are you going in maybe a little bit different this time? You still running the same strategy and just hoping it sticks? How are you attacking this one this time?
Only slight changes, but going in the same way. I always feel confident with this. I will say I don't want to lose. I'm done losing, man. I've lost all year at this point. I keep getting here and then losing. So I really, really want this one. But again, it's Kirk. Kirk is always a great competitor, always a guy I love facing in anything, especially in debate. And if I happen to not get all the way again, I don't know if I said this last time or not, but if I did, I'm just going to reiterate my debate from last time that I'm going to be just like Fast Eddie, the best ending of any Scorsese character, and keep coming back and keep coming back and keep coming back, because that's resilience and not being pathetic, like Kirk said last time, which I didn't agree with. But anyway.
All right. Yeah. Wow. That was good. Okay. Let's bring in the champ, Mr. Kowalkowski. Kirk, you are home from the animal kingdom. I love to see it. Welcome home. How are you doing? And same kind of question to you. You've beat Rue a few times now. You've had a great season as far as title defenses. Is this another let's just keep doing what we're doing because it's working, or are we shaking things up to stay on our toes? What are we thinking?
Well, first of all, I just want to say I'm glad that I buried a little bit of Scorsese in Rue's brain somewhere. That makes all this worth it. But no, I knew Rue had a title match coming because of the Last Word. I knew that was on the horizon. And I also know that Rue doesn't want to just win this title. He wants to win this title from me. And it was very important to me. I worked very hard to make sure I got here to give him that chance, because that's how much I love Rue and respect Rue as a person, as a player. I think he's great at this. I think he is one of the best. He deserves to be a champion. As far as my game plan, I'm just sticking to what I do. You know what I mean? I try to learn every time I play somebody, what I can do better. Going up against him again and haven't played Rude so many times now. Hopefully I've learned some of that stuff. I'm curious to see what he changed up, because he always has some marks and some really creative ways to throw things at you. So I think this will be a great match, and I'm excited to see how it goes.
Awesome. Let's get into it. This is how it's going to work. So the players drafted 5 categories because it's a title match, 3 from the challenger, 3 from the champion, 2 from the challenger. And we gave them questions based on those categories, and they're going to debate them tonight before our very souls. So they're each going to get a 1-minute opening, followed by a 5-minute freeform, followed by a 1-minute closing. At the end of their debate, oh my God, I can't grab it. There we go.
I already got mine, remember?
Brian, Mark, and I will write on our handy dandy boards who we thought won the point. We know who Brian is voting for, apparently. And 2 out of 3 votes wins you a point. First person to 4 points wins the match. If we are at a 3, or I'm sorry, wow, my brain is not working. If we're at a 3-1 or whatever, a standstill after the 5 questions, we will go to bonus questions. Should we get there, we'll explain the rules then. So, gentlemen, any questions as we kick this one off? Okay, doke. Let's do it. Okay, a 3-2 is what I meant to say. my math ain't mathing. All right, we're going to kick this off with the first question. It was drafted by Kirk in the category of horror. Your question is, what is the best scene showing off Romero's direction in a Romero-directed horror film? We are going to start off with Kirk on this one. Kirk, you have 1 minute to open when you start talking.
I chose the scene where Peter dies and eventually turns in Dawn of the Dead. This is a very pivotal scene in the movie because up till now, the group has been basically playing house in the mall. They really haven't had to face the realities of what's going on in the world around them. But now that has come home to roost because they're about to lose one of their own. In this scene, it starts out with Roger basically in his death throes saying his final goodbyes to Peter. Romero gets some really good performance out of both those actors, probably their best in the film. And then as they wait for Peter to turn, they turn on the TV, and there's a scientist talking, and we get our first kind of peek into what's happening in the real world. Inside the mall, inside the room, the scene is mostly silent and is narrated by this scientist character who is speaking during this very personal, emotional scene for our characters, is juxtaposed by seeing what is going out in the real world in the macro, and also as opposed to the emotion in the scene, his call for a lack of emotion and for them to be logical. A lot of cool things here. Basically, everything he's talking about is the opposites happening in the scene. I really like when Peter starts to come back to life, and we see him moving. They talk about the nuclear options, and I'll talk about how that is relevant in my full minutes.
Okay. We're going to move over to Amaru. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
We tend to forget that directorial decisions made behind the camera are just as important as what's in front. So when Romero casted Dwayne Jones, a black man, as the main protagonist, Ben, when that wasn't the original vision, informs the scene I chose, Ben's death at the end of Night of the Living Dead, capping off of the film as a powerful racial commentary. We start with a helicopter coming in a wide shot of a line of lifeless bodies walking like zombies until you realize with the close-up that it's a mob of good old boys with guns, and you ask yourself, what's the difference? Especially when they're carefree, run-of-the-mill scenes of cars and dogs and easy killings of shootings of zombies is juxtaposed with the meticulous close-ups of Ben's face and shadows when we cut to him, all the way until we see Ben in a dark window carefully pointing a gun out to check the scene, and one member of the mob is told by the leader, go ahead, shoot. And as we see Ben shot clean in the head, the boss says, yep, he's dead. Let's clean up here. The movie ends, the credits roll over nothing more than a montage of photographic stills of men taking hooks and unceremoniously piling his body with the rest of the zombies like a newsreel celebrating the mob's good deeds, taking Ben from our hero to a random nameless body in the blink of an eye.
Okay. Intense stuff, gentlemen. 5-minute freeform. When one of you starts talking, I will throw up the 1 minute warning when that time comes. And if one of you is talking over the other, I will throw up the let your opponent talk. Don't make me do it. It makes me sad. So 5-minute freeform when one of you starts talking.
Okay. Yeah, I think I assumed you're going to hit the social commentary aspect of this hard because the scene itself, from a filmmaking standpoint, isn't great. It looks like a lot of covered shots. It's poorly edited. We barely see Ben when he falls. So I think, and I understand it is important, the social comedy aspect, but that is something that runs through this entire franchise. You could have picked anything as you go on. You know, in Dawn of the Dead, the apartment building raid, where you have the cops not discriminating between zombies and the black and brown people who live there. You have Day of the Dead, where the zombies escape and kill the military police that have been abused in the whole movie. And then you have Land of the Dead, where you have a literal black zombie who's leading the revolt against the one percenters. So this idea you're looking at in the end of Night of the Living Dead with Ben's death, that is ideas, and those are things that are seen throughout this franchise, but they are done much better from a filmmaking standpoint as Romero gets his experience, gets his feet under him, and becomes a better filmmaker.
We did that apartment scene, the first debate I had with you, and I was debating how it was horribly dated because it looks like crap. This one is actually, that's the point, that it is unceremoniously cuts away from him because it shows with the racial commentary how quickly a black body in that kind of scene can just be erased like it's nothing. The fact that we don't see him and it's ambiguous and it doesn't even give him the respect of showing a video of whether or not they shot him on purpose or not, and doesn't go back to a video until we get a bonfire literally erasing his body just as quickly as the racial society does then. That's why it's shot that way, and that's why it's so much better done in that scene than anything else, while yours is also poorly edited. But like, it's a static shot that is carried. It's a static shot carried by a lot of great performances that have to carry some poor editing choices where Peter is looking one way at one point, and then the second it moves to the other one. You immediately see, oh, that had to have been two scenes chopped together because he is not looking in the same direction as he was before.
Okay. Real quick to what you say, you might say it's social commentary and all this stuff and it was planned. What I see there in your scene is an unconfident filmmaker who doesn't know how to end his movie, so he ends up with a shock, and he gobbles together some covered shots, and he gets people talking, and 50 years later we say it was some great thing. My scene, like you said, he gets great scenes out of it, but it is greatly edited when you look at the TV versus what's going on in the actual scene. When the scene where right as Roger starts to move, and you have this very personal moment for Peter, he's got to kill his friend. They start talking about the nuclear option, how they're going to handle it in the whole world. When the gunshot goes off and he has to kill his friend and take out his friend, that's right when the sign says we have to be unemotional. They hit unemotional right as the trigger goes off. And my favorite part of the scene is when when Steven's sitting there watching the TV and he turns, he wants to say something to Francine, and as soon as he turns, right over his shoulder, like the angel or Devers in the shoulder, is that TV, and the scientist said, we have to be unemotional, we have to be logical. And he just hangs his head and gives up in despair. I think that scene is so perfectly cut, so perfectly framed, so perfectly paced, and so perfectly edited.
First off, it's actually a very confident director because he made the choice beforehand. Ben wasn't supposed to be black, but once Dwayne Jones showed him he was a great actor, he purposely didn't change anything about the movie, but making him black. So he knew how he was going to end this movie just as unceremoniously as people do in that country. You talk about the audio choices, and I liked your audio choices just as much as I like my audio choices. Every time we were in the mob, it was very carefree. It was people talking. It was the sounds of nature to show how nonchalant the white guys were because they're just like a mob of zombies because you don't know the difference when they're all walking unceremoniously compared to the sound of silence and carefree nature that Ben is, just like the rest of the movie, where all the white people are making all the stupid decisions, not listening to Ben, the black man who actually survives. And when it comes to, you talk about your audio choices, the problem with your scene is, while that is good, the beginning and the middle take you out immediately. Again, one, with the horrible cuts, but second, that POV shot of the two main characters, I would have loved it if they would have stayed close up to close up. close up to wide shot to see him come up. But then they went to a close up. I was like, okay, we leave with a close up. But then they take you back out from the close up. And you're like, wait a second, pick a decision visually because this audio was great, but the visual keeps taking me out.
I think the visuals are great because you're getting those different perspectives of them as he's getting back. He's getting up and you're seeing the close-up of his face as he's having to deal with this, and then he gets shot, and you see Peter's reaction. You see that great Ken Foree performance. Your movie, again, the audio is bad. It cuts in, it cuts out, it fades. Again, it shows the lack of budget. I still think that the Dawn of the Dead scene you shut down, but again, Day of the Dead has better commentary, has better scenes of the zombies doing the same things, taking out police. And then, like I said, Land of the Dead, the entire movie is it's basically Ben coming back and Ben being that guy and taking out and getting fully his revenge. And you have it on a better budget with a bigger budget with a more experienced and better filmmaker.
Time. Okay. We're going to start closings with Amaru. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
This scene is the perfect encapsulation of Romero's direction because he does the best with a lower budget, showing how great of a director he is and how he informs the rest of his career based off on how great he can do with as little as possible, showing that then he could use the purposeful audio that's throwing you off, the nonchalantness of the white man compared to the black man where everything is meticulous, everything is dark shadows, everything is careful, really harping on the racial commentary that informs the rest of his career, while yours has auditory sounds that are good and great, but from the beginning where you just have a static shot of a room and you're not moving anywhere else, and then you can easily see the stitched together multiple scenes and you're like, ooh, wow, he wasn't looking there at that time, and when he threw that, it immediately cut somewhere else, and then you're like, okay, cool, I'm coming back with the great auditory choices, but then afterwards you see the point of view and you're like, hey, stick to a point of view. Auditorily it's great, point of view wise and visually it's time.
Okay, we're going to go over to Kirk. Kirk, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
It's interesting that Rue says that everything about Ben and the social commentary of the black man was purposeful, but he also admitted that before Ben was cast, the story didn't change. When he cast Ben Johnson, he didn't change anything about the story or the ending. So obviously there's no commentary. Again, we've read in this for 50 years and we've added a lot of stuff to it, but this is an unconfident director who doesn't have much to work with and he doesn't know how to end his movie. So he gives a big shock that wasn't set up, no payoff. Just, hey, let's get people talking out of the theater. Cheap ending. My movie, again, he's talking about POV and his, it's choppy, it's bad, the editing's bad, a lot of things. Mine is a great encapsulation of what's happening in the scene with these characters, and as they are silent, the TV is talking for them, juxtaposing their feelings, their emotions, and you see that through these muted performances, as well as when you see on that TV what this guy's saying, just how he's is just the opposite of what's happening there, and really is just showing the emotion versus the logic. What's going on in the mall, what's happening in the macro and the rest of the world. It's a great scene, turning point in the movie. Best Romero directed scene.
Okay.
Good start, Kirk.
You too, man. Great fight.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, man.
My board is clear, by the way.
Oh, man. All right. I'm ready. Mark looks ready. Brian, how you doing?
I don't know if I'm happy with it, but I guess.
All right.
I'm
yeah,
very on the
this was
fence on
great.
this one. Yeah.
This was very good. We're in for a good one, I think. I won't do the long monologue. I went with Kirk. And here's why. I was actually on Rue's side for quite a bit of this. I think where Kirk swung me over was he started to really hammer in on how there's a Romero being an more unexperienced director at the time of Rue's movie and giving like the points of how it was just like a cheap ending to get people talking out of the theater. I thought was like that hit really well. I think Rue had again a lot of really good points against Kirk's scene, but I think again it was close most of it. Rue had the edge for me for most of it, but I think Kirk swung it in the direction of just saying like, yeah, Romero, like he was a way more unexperienced director, and it shows in the way the scene is executed. So this is that was tough. That is a good one. Brian, your thoughts?
Yeah, for me, like the openings were really close for me. In the main body of it, I think there was a few places we got kind of sidetrack. I know like Rue was talking a lot about like the social commentary and stuff about his film, which is all completely valid, but I'm not sure that really figures into the directing of it so much as like the themes and the story aspect of it. At the same time, Kirk, a lot of his offense was attacking like, well, this other movie did it better and this other movie did it better, which for me, those arguments never really do much because those movies aren't really part of this discussion between these two films. So you got off track on both of those. So when it came down to it, the one who gave me the most like actual direction stuff by a thin hair was Kirk.
Okay. Mark, your vote doesn't count. Where would you have gone though? By your reaction, I think I might no.
Yeah, odd man out here. Rue, you got one of us. So like, yeah, I gotta be honest, a little bit. I think opposite, at least on Brian here. At least when Kirk was talking about the different movies, I think I feel like he at least brought up a decent point, at least of something like this is what Romero has done a whole bunch of times. So what it kind of makes like what Night of the Living Dead like any different. I think Rue actually brought in a number of good examples, like to combat everything that Kirk was throwing at him. I think he was able to defend. I think Romero against Kirk probably better than most people have here. And I think Kirk definitely brought up some good points, but I think Rue is able to handle it pretty well.
Okay. So Kirk wins the first point. We are going to move on to the next question, which was drafted by Mr. Moses in the category of comedy. And your question is, what is the best comedic performance in a pre-2003 Mike Epps comedy? We are going to start with Mr. Moses. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
15, 30, 37, 38. You say that to any of Mike Epps' massive audience, they will automatically reply 45, 47, because that is what he does best. Quotables, great improvisation, great physical and vocal comedy with his voice inflections, and most of all, hilarious shit talking. But that's not the main reason why I picked Reggie from All About the Benjamins as his best comedic performance. Because while he has all that in spades, better than any other role he's ever done, it's his best performance because he creates a rounded comedic character that you become endeared to and love due to his amazing odd couple chemistry with the stoic Ice Cube, chipping away at his hard exterior with scenes talking about, hey, I just want to be a partner. I just want to be a partner. And when Bookham replies, this ain't no partnership, he gives a great look like that you laugh at. And how the hell did he get her chemistry with Ava Mendez? Like when she talks to him about how he can't fight, and he goes, yeah, I can. I hit like 5 dudes and about 5 bitches. And then she looks at him and says, baby, you can't fight. And automatically you're just like, this is an actual performance.
All right, let's go over to Kirk. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
I also picked a Mike Epps performance. I picked a funnier, better one. I went with Day Day in Next Friday. And what I loved about this, and why I think this is the funniest performance, is because there's the comedy is so effortless. At no point really in this movie is Day Day attempting to be funny. The humor comes when he's frustrated, or when he's scared, or when he's hurt, or when he's trying to sound smart and intelligent. And it just comes so naturally because, there's a scene where he's getting high and he's talking about when Craig took a dump in the church. He's like, the pastor was the only one who could stay there. through the blessings of God, and it comes off, everything comes off so serious, and that's where the humor comes from. There's no like real attempt to like tell jokes or one-liners or be funny. It just oozes humor off of his performance, off of the character, from his physicality, just the way he walks and runs, and the big dumb smile he has on his face through a lot of the movie until he gets frustrated and starts to almost cry. There's so much there that is effortless for Mike Epps and so funny.
All right, let's get into it. 5-minute freeform when one of you starts talking.
Mike Epps elevates from someone who's trying to be funny on camera, being himself, to an actual comedic actor giving a real performance. From whether he's talking to the convenience store clerk saying, "I'm about to go see Dwight." Dwight who? Dwight around your lip? Or when he's shit talking to Roger Grenville Smith, talking about his fucked up hairline, saying, "Oh, when you in the army, I bet you look like this." Or I bet you when you dream, you don't have dreams, you have movies. You'll never find blah, 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 a hairline like mine. In Day-Day's performance, it's effortless because he's not performing. He's actually being the stand-up routine Mike Epps, going at 10 90% of the time. All he does 90% of the time in the movie is go, "Look at my roof, look at my roof. Why didn't you think to help me over here? Why did you do that? I just want to come borrow some sugar." That's all he does, and he stays on 10 because he's trying to overtake the Chris Tucker performance from before, instead of actually having a range of comedic timing, voice, and bits that he can do.
I would say you're making my argument for me, because if he went from naturally funny to trying to be funny, he should have stayed naturally funny, because there is so much effort oozing off of Mike Epps in All About the Benjamins. Whereas honestly, like, is he written as a guy who's not really funny and is just trying really hard? Like those one-liners you're talking about the forehead, not funny. I mean, he actually uses the line, "You don't have a forehead, you got a 5 head." I mean, he uses these old, tired, stale jokes that aren't funny. It's him like dancing and singing and doing all this stuff, trying so hard. That's why Day-Day is so much funnier. And you say he goes up to 10. He's not always up to 10. He starts up. That's what's great. He's all, when he first starts and he's talking about his car and he's really excited and he's just, got the big smile on his face. And then he starts to get frustrated talking about his girlfriend. He starts talking about her sister and doing the snorts and everything, getting all worked up until he gets mace. And then he takes up to 10. But then you have those scenes where he's sitting down getting high and he just having like this, what he thinks is intellectual conversations, and he's riffing with his friends. And again, there's a range there. It's just not like total, like, "Hey, look at me, everybody, look how funny I am." It's just him being naturally, effortlessly humorous.
You think there's effort in All About the Benjamins because you don't watch Mike Epps. You don't find him funny, which I understand because that's you. But the entire I watched that movie in the theaters, and I saw everybody laughing over and over for each consecutive joke that he was talking shit about Day-Day. He is absolutely effortless, but he also, again, gives a rounded performance, doing different things, doing physical comedy when he fights, book him throughout the movie, going up to 10 when he needs to because he's actually frustrated about his girl getting kidnapped, or somebody talking stuff about his about how he looks and things like that, or using again, talking shit to different people throughout the film, or again, giving quotables like, "Oh, I feel like the black president." That is him being effortlessly funny as a person. You kept going back to, he keeps getting frustrated. Every scene you talked about, he had to go getting frustrated when he got when he's getting messed up by his ex. Him getting high. The funniest part about that scene is when he gets vacuumed by the his lips get sucked up by the vacuum. He's like, "Hey, why did you help me? Why did you help me?" He is on 10 for the majority of that film because he doesn't know how to actually act yet. He just knows how to be him. And while that is funny, that is not a good performance.
You're saying, I understand what you're saying, because you're saying he's effortless, but he's acting. He knows how to act, but it's effortless and All About the Benjamins. And you're saying that
is best performance, not funniest, best, and he is not performing.
Best comedic performance. Best comedic performance.
He is effortlessly being funny as himself because that's all he knows how to do. And now when you go to All About the Benjamins, he actually elevates his effortless into an actual performance of the character.
Yeah, but just because he's putting more performance in and he's putting more effort doesn't make it better, doesn't make it better, doesn't make a better performance. You talk about how he's just ripping off Chris Tucker in this movie. In All About the Benjamins, I mean,
He's not ripping off Chris Tucker. He's trying to overshadow Chris Tucker.
He's just a poor man's Martin Lawrence to Ice Cube's Will Smith in this in All About the Benjamins. He's just trying to be like constantly trying. Where in my movie there is a performance, but it's like I said, it's an effortless performance. He's playing a real person. He's not a movie character, and he's funny, and the comedy comes off of him naturally through the situation. It's not him trying. Hey, look at me! Listen to me sing this dance. Hear me tell a joke. All these different things. It's just him being funny, and that's so much fun in real life. A person who's naturally funny and just you could laugh at because of how they are is so much funnier and so much better than a person who's just putting so much effort in and is exhausting. And Mike Epps, it's a good word. He's exhausting in All About the Benjamins.
He is exhausting in Next Friday because, again, all he does for the most part in every scene is go to 10 and start yelling, why do you help me? Why do you do this? Look at my... That's what he ends up going to because, again, he is playing himself. It is funnier in All About the Benjamins. It is a better performance in All About the Benjamins. And you talk about Day-Day as a character. When you juxtapose that to Friday After Next, which is not funny, you actually see him build a character.
Time. Okay. We're going to start with Kirk for closings. Kirk, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
Rue's trying to sell Mike Epps as like just this variety, like great actor in this movie. He has one note in this. Like you said, notice everything is like an insult or trash talking or a song. That's all he does. He goes back to that over and over again. Whether he's talking to his girlfriend, whether he's talking to the bad guys, whether he's talking to Ice Cube, it is over and over again the same thing. And it's just him trying so hard. Look at me, look how funny I am. Laugh at me. Day-Day's performance is a real performance. He plays a real guy. If he's playing himself, then he plays himself fantastic. Fine. That's great. But it is so effortlessly funny and it's such a great comedic performance because of how easy it is to just the last pull off of him, all the different things he does. Yes, his frustration. Yes, his anger, but also his fear and when he's kidnapped. Also him trying to connect with his friends when they're getting high. All these different things, and he is just funny the whole time. And there's just nonstop comedy. I was laughing the whole movie. Where Mike Epps in All About the Benjamins, I just like, okay, enough already.
Time. Okay, we're gonna move over to Rue. Rue, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
All About the Benjamins is the first, best, and funniest actual performance of Mike Epps' career that took this hilarious person as a stand-up comic trying to be funny in a movie and Next Friday and turned him into an actual comedic actor doing different comedic bits throughout the entirety of the film to create a well-rounded character that you love, you laugh at, and is absolutely hilarious. I've already mentioned all the quotables. I've already talked about the great improvisation, like when he talked about the diamond and he said, instead of riffing, not dissing anybody, he said, I'm going to take the diamonds and go to the face side like this, and when they see it, I'm gonna get all the bitches in the club like AI, just like this. It doesn't have to be disses. He uses the voice inflections just like he does with Day-Day when it naturally happens, when he's actually frustrated for real reasons. And then he utilizes the shit talking throughout the entire film to give you 5 different ways he's funny in All About the Benjamins. Whereas in Next Friday, all he is being a stand-up comic, being at 10 the entire time, yelling and screaming and getting aggravated because he doesn't know how to act yet. He doesn't know how to perform. So while it's funny, it's not a performance like All About the Benjamins.
Okay, gonna bring in our judges. Peek behind the curtain. We're shooting this very close to its release date. That being said, if you missed Fandom Jeopardy last week, go check it out. It was really fun. Go watch it. Sorry, John, you posted your Jeopardy thing after we already shot ours. Okay. Brian, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, Mark, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, this was weird, man. I mean, there's a point where like Kirk was like, "Hey, I don't know what you're talking about," and I'm sitting here, same. Like, I just go. I ended up going with Kirk, like, because I'm not entirely certain, like, where we getting this thing of like, oh, he's kind of funny, and he's funny, but like it's not a performance. He's doing himself. Like I don't know, man. That's performance. Like I don't like. I was kind of confused where we're going with that. I just feel like Kirk kind of gave me a little bit more something I can kind of latch onto a little bit, and I think also I just wasn't really buying a lot of Rue's knocks on Mike Epps' performance in in, at least in next Friday.
Okay. I went with Rue. We'll see if this is a anti-Mark episode or not when Brian goes. But it was funny. When Kirk posed the like, what are you talking about? I don't know. I get why he was confused because what Rue was saying was a little like, where are you getting at? But I thought he actually did a good job of explaining it afterwards. And he kind of convinced me of like, he's always funny, but in Rue's movie, he's adding to the funny to make it a more well-rounded, better performance. It's comedic and it's actually adding some heart and some depth to it. I thought both sounded very funny. I've not seen either films. I've seen the first Friday, but I have not seen the second. I've not seen the next one. So, but both, but Rue convinced me in this one. So, Brian, your thoughts?
My thoughts is if you want to have fun, make a drinking game, go back and watch this argument, take a drink every time someone says the word effortless or effortlessly. Just a lot of those.
I like it.
Yeah, I think this. Well, I voted to Rue on this one. For me, I think this is one of those. I know we've said it with Kirk before, with some of the categories he picks. That there's just some times when you go up against somebody who's clearly like a big fan of someone or very knowledgeable about someone and their style and their performance, whatever, that you can just tell that they're very passionate about it and it comes out in their argument. And especially if the other person maybe is just not as big a fan, it's not their kind of movie, you can kind of feel that in the arguments. So Rue had a really strong case for his, especially in his attacks on Kirk. I know he was talking about how in next Friday, how, he's just kind of, at 10 the entire time, whereas in All About the Benjamins, he gets to have a little bit more, I don't know if nuance is the right word, but a little more range to his argument. And then Kirk even said at one point to try to promote his movie, he was saying that, the comedy comes to the situations and it's just him being him, and I thought that actually felt like a knock on his own person, not something that is credited to his performance. So I vote for Rue.
Okay. We are going to move on to the next question. Rue is on the board. It is 1-1, and we're getting into the next one, which was drafted by Kirk in the category of Galaxy Quests. Your question is, which quote from an original Star Trek film best sums up the series? We're going to start with Mr. Kowalkowski. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
At the final scene of Star Trek VI Undiscovered Country, after the Enterprise has been ordered to return to dock for decommissioning, Captain Kirk is asked what their heading is, and he replies, "Second star to the right and straight on till morning." And I think this quote perfectly summarizes the entire series. At the end, correctly enough, for two reasons. Two main themes this hits. Star Trek has always been about exploration, the final frontier, boldly going, and that quote is about seeing what's next, what's on the horizon. Let's see what's out there. The second theme is about aging and getting older. We see that all the way from Star Trek: The Motion Picture when he tries to get his captaincy back to their face of retirement in Star Trek VI. It's always about how are they going to handle getting older. And I think having the quote come in from Peter Pan, the boy who never grew up, the symbol of eternal youth. It's so great to end that series with that line, showing that they still hold that youthful spirit of adventure and excitement that's taken through all these movies and will continue to take them on their lives.
Time. Sorry, my hands had a spasm there. All right, let's go over to Mr. Moses. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
Kirk's right. Exploration is a key theme when you think about this series, especially the original series. But one theme that actually overtakes exploration is the reason for that exploration. We do this exploring because we want to find empathy with others we don't connect with. We want to find the commonality with the beings we don't know. And that is why I picked the quote from Kirk talking about Spock. Out of all the souls I have encountered in my travels, his was the most human. One, it talks about the all the people he has encountered, of the souls he's encountered, talking about that exploration. But the exploration has always been an underlying current to the main theme of connecting to others. That's why we explore. So one, when he calls Spock a soul, a being of one of the so-called soulless, most logical, most unemotional races in the entirety of Star Trek, he's calling him a soul. And then he said Spock's was the most human, the most one I can connect to, not the best, not the greatest, but the most human, flawed, empathetic, connecting. It's the connections that bring all of us, that all the movies have shown, is what the series is about.
Okay. 5-minute freeform when one of you starts talking.
I mean, I'll start by saying I think you're reading a little too much into that. I think you're getting too much from that, where it's just really specifically talking about Spock and his soul. And I think Spock would kind of take offense to that and sees his humanity as a weakness most of the time. But I also think you're misinterpreting the point of Star Trek. Star Trek isn't about finding the humanness in everybody else. It's about finding these diverse life forms, these diverse that are not human at all. I mean, the prime directive is basically, we're not going to interfere. We're not going to presuppose our ideas, our morality, our rules on these people, and I think a great example is the arc throughout these movies, these 6 movies, of Kirk's relationship with the Klingons. It starts out Kirk is basically racist against the Klingons, and he doesn't learn these people are like us. His interactions with the Klingons, he learns more and more they are different from us. They are not human. They are opposite, but we can still coexist with them being completely different. So there is no, oh, they're just like me, they're just like people. The point to Star Trek is everything is very different, but we can still coexist, even though there's nothing human about them. There doesn't have to be, because humanity isn't the important part. It's all these different separate things that are different from us.
First, you said Spock would say that his humanity is a weakness. Coming from you, you know that Spock learns to love his humanity. Second, you called mine the stretch. You have to know the Peter Pan quote to talk about the aging. I didn't know that until you said it, because I didn't know the quote was there. Third, the aging has to do with themselves and not looking at other people. It has no empathy with others. And lastly, you brought up the fact that he uses the word humanity. This entire movie is from this perspective of humans. There's only half of a non-human person on the ship. So the entirety of what we're going to learn about people is going to come from humans' perspective. And how do you connect more than the person who's talking, a human, saying his is more human, his is the most connected to mine, the most non-human, non-emotional, the one who doesn't think they're flawed, the one who believes humanity is a weakness. I see him as human like me, because the importance of Star Trek is connection with that diversity, not the exploration, not the aging or looking inside. It's about looking outwards to see what connection the two beings that are completely different can have.
Okay, I'm not going to take you not knowing that that's a quote from Peter Pan as a knock against the quote. It's still a great quote. Google it. You'll learn something. And you say it's the aging about the characters. Yes, these movies are about these characters and their experience and their relationships with each other and how they grow and what they are experiencing in their careers and in their lives in Starfleet. So yes, it is completely valid to say that they're aging and they're facing their scenes. Star Trek 3, Star Trek 5, there's meditations on death. So yeah, it's very much about their aging and they're learning to deal with that. So yeah, that's perfectly legitimate to say that's a major theme in Star Trek. And yes, it is all about human characters, but these human characters are learning to deal with things. Look at V'ger. V'ger is something completely unhuman. But they don't learn to connect with it as a human at all. That the whole point of V'ger is he is completely unhuman, and they learn to work with that. The probe that comes in Star Trek 4, not human at all, but they learn how to deal with it. They don't connect with it. They make no connection with that probe. What's your face there? They make no connection with that probe.
My
they
face is that you brought up the point of me using the word human, and that kills the quote. But you just talked about it's about these characters and their connections. So using the word human would be from their perspective. And exactly, V'ger, the probe, where does V'ger's conduit end up with? In love with Decker, because they connect. And it's and the word human.
And Decker gives up his humanity.
He gives He doesn't give up his humanity. He gives up his life. Humanity isn't with life. It's about they connect. The word human is just a conduit for connection. V'ger connects with humans through having a life together. The probe is connecting with whales, two completely different beings. The
Not
fracturing in Search for Spock, it's about the fracturing of that connection between Klingons and Kirk, and that connection comes back in 6, where the Klingons and the humans learn to love each other after they go through all this stuff.
Stretch.
Learn to tolerate and learn to empathize with each other.
Despite of their differences, because they're non-human, because they're nothing human about them.
Despite their humanity, you are so pinpointing the one word, not understanding the reasoning of the word. It's about these characters, so they would use human, but you go past that and you see it's about the empathy of connection, which all of your things are talking about. Your quote doesn't talk about anybody outside of themselves.
It talks about exploration. It talks about these things. It talks about it encompasses V'ger. It encompasses the probe. It comes like all these things. The things they face. They travel through time. They face the difference of the cross line between life and death. They might experience God Himself. All these different things are experiencing. That's what my quote is encompassing: the adventure in these movies.
Okay, we are going to start with Rue on this one. Rue, you have 1 minute to close when you start talking.
Just like the exploration is the surface of what Star Trek is about, it's the conduit to be the act to connect to the actual theme and the soul of the series about connecting with species that have nothing in common with us or seemingly nothing in common with us. The word humans and the word souls is the conduit to connect how Kirk has connected so well and found the empathy and the commonality so much with this being and race that seems most unlike humanity ever. And that is why my quote encompasses both the exploration and the actual theme of this series, which is connection. What words out of Second Star to the Right and Straight On Till Morning talks anything about anybody else? It doesn't. It follows the exploration, the surface level, but it doesn't go any deeper, because if we're talking about aging, we're thinking inwardly, where Star Trek, especially the first 6 movies, always talks about outward, whether it's connection, whether it's disconnection, whether it's fighting with crews or anybody from 6, Luck and Bill from 5, Finding Chakri, all that.
Okay, we're going to go over to Kirk. Kirk, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
When Kirk says Spock's soul was the most human, what he's saying is his soul was the most like mine as a human. And the whole point of Star Trek is going out and finding things that are not like you, that are not human, that are different, and learning to either work with them or deal with them or handle them in a peaceful situation. So when he says the most human, that's the antithesis of what Star Trek stands for. Rue's trying to make about empathy and all this stuff. That's not it. Again, he doesn't connect with the Klingons. He becomes my Rue's trying to say mine. He's saying mine isn't that deep, but he's saying it's too deep for him to understand because it's a literary reference that he doesn't get. The literary reference of it being Peter Pan, of it being the eternal youth, dealing with these people who have dealt with aging and still wanting to be adventure and get out there and live that life is encapsulated in that. And also that Second Star to the Right, again, Rue, what that is saying is let's see what's out there. Let's go out and let's explore. Let's see what that final frontier is, whether it's time travel, whether it's new science, whether it's making new friends, new political borders than we had before. That's everything that my quote encapsulates.
Okay. Sweet mercy. All right. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, Brian, you can kick us off whenever you're set.
So surprisingly for me, Rue had this kind of from his opening. I thought he was he started off really strong, especially when he starts talking about how, Kirk's quote basically talks about exploring, whereas his covers, why we explore, the motivation, what it is they're looking to do. I know Kirk late in the debate tried to talk about how, they're looking to explore, to go out and make connections and things like that, but I don't see that implied in the quote in any way. Rue also talked about how Kirk was kind of pinpointing that one word human, and just spent a lot of time trying to talk about the one word human, but not. But then, as Rue pointed out, it's like, he was not focusing on the bigger picture of the general theme that it kind of represents. Yeah. So for me, just Rue made a better argument for his.
Mark.
Yeah. I do think it is kind of fun. I always find it funny when we got at least one person in the match going, "Oh, you're making my argument for me," and we had both people at some point be like, "Well, you're making my argument for me," almost at the same time too. Which I was funny. I will say I think both laid it out pretty good for to the point where I think honestly both these quotes I think kind of fit the series pretty well. I think at the end of the day, I think you convinced me it fits. There's more and just kind of more facets. I ended up going with Kirk on that one.
Okay. Mark, I'm really sorry. I went with Rue.
You don't want my vote today. Yeah, I'll tell you that.
No, I love you. Stay. Yeah, I thought Kirk's opening was really strong. And his closing too, honestly. I thought Kirk's pitch on the quote about the exploration, about the being young, the Peter Pan thing, I thought that all worked really great. Rue not knowing it was from Peter Pan. I don't know that I believe that. Secondly,
I forgot. I did until he said it.
Secondly, I don't think it mattered. So I didn't hold that against Kirk. But where Rue really won this for me was I felt like Rue's argument just on the kind of what Brian was saying, the Kirk was really pinpointing the word human. And I thought Rue did a good job of kind of explaining why in the series the characters going out and making these connections with people that are different from them and having the empathy and trying to learn and everything, it was really good. I thought Kirk tried to attack that a little bit with the whole Klingon argument with Kirk, and I thought that was a good one. But I think Rue was overall able to overcome it. So I gave the point to Rue. All right, we're back. And Rue is up 2-1. We are going to move on to the fourth question, which was drafted by Mr. Moses in the category of Pixar. Your question is, which Pixar character would you most want to spend time with for fun? I love fun. Rue, 1 minute when you start talking.
You have the most fun with somebody when you feel like you can do absolutely anything with them and have a blast. Someone who will take you out of your comfort zone and expose you to new heights, but accept you for who you are, extroverted or introverted, and bring you in as someone important to them. And no one does that more than Ellie from Up. When we meet her as a child, she's playing make-believe radio announcer with all the charm of a professional, and she brings in the shy, nervous Carl, immediately admitting him into her now two-person club and says, "You're quiet, huh? I like you," showing how much she's ready to have a lifetime of amazing experience with somebody not like her. From there, we see that as she works with animals, she loves the outdoors and adventures. Her family is as celebratory as she is, as we see in the wedding. So we know she comes from a family that loves to influence others. She's down to mingle. She's down to be the life of the party, but also has just as much fun going on a picnic or sitting down next to you and quietly reading a book. And a person like that, who can take the attention away from you if you don't want it, but never leave you behind, makes you feel important and have a great time doing things you've never done or things you absolutely love, no matter how wild or benign, is always the person you want to have most fun hanging out with.
All right, I'm going to go over to Kirk. Kirk, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
I picked Barley from Onward. Barley's a fun guy. He's willing to do a lot of things. He's a gamer. He likes tabletop. So if you're an inside kid and you like to do that stuff, He's got hours of fun for you planned. He's going to keep you engaged there. If you're more adventurous, you want to do things outdoors, you want to do something else. If you're more extroverted, he's willing to do that too. Because Barley is kind, he's friendly, he's caring, he cares about other people. He cares about other people having a good time and what they do, what they get to do. He's willing. He is somebody who actually will take you out of your comfort zone, who will push himself, will push his boundaries, will push you. And maybe if you're a kind of person who isn't, maybe you're feeling down, maybe you're a depressed person, he's the kind of person who kind of give you that little nudge that you need to have go out and have that fun. So that's why I picked Barley. I think he has all those things. He has so many positive personality traits that just radiate fun, and he's a person you're going to enjoy being around and will do things that you enjoy. Barley, Lightfoot, onward.
Okay. All right. We are going to get started with the 5-minute freeform when one of you starts talking.
Ellie is who you think Barley is. Barley, one, he seems like all that on the surface, but for one, when you walk into where he's going, you're immediately going to hit with a smell because you know he doesn't shower, and you've seen his van. It's disgusting. Ellie is definitely not going to do that. Second, he's going to make you feel really stupid not knowing Quest of Lore, as you see what he does with his brother. You know, you're doing it wrong, or well, actually, it's this. How do you not know this Quest of Lore thing? Aggravating you. And then Ellie doesn't do that. She makes you, as you see with that quote, "You're quiet, I like you," makes you feel important. He's going to aggravate everybody else around you. Well, actually, their whole life story, just like the thing with the fairies, where the fairies attack them, and to cap it off, he's broke. He's going to make you pay for everything. What the hell am I going to have fun doing that with?
Okay. Is there another movie called Up with another character named Ellie? Because the character Ellie from Up is nothing you described. Okay. She talks big about adventure in the beginning of the movie, and then she does none of it. She does nothing. She goes to work, she does chores, and she hangs out with Carl. So guess what? If you have fun third wheeling with Carl, you're going to have a great time. If you're going to have fun laying on the ground with her and Carl looking at clouds, more power to you. If you're going to have sitting quietly while they hold hands and reading, because that's all she does. Look at her book at the end. Thank you for the adventure. Her adventure was just hanging out with Carl, and that's it. If you're Carl, that's great. Okay, you talk about her family. Where was her family when she had a miscarriage and was recovering from a miscarriage? Where was her family when she was dying in the hospital? We see her whole life. After the wedding, it's just the two of them because they're that kind of couple. They are in each other's world entire. They really aren't interested in anybody else. That's great for them, but it's going to be boring as hell for anybody else, including you, if you want to spend time with them.
What the hell does her family have to do with what she actually does? I'm bringing them up to know that she's comes from her family for when you go out, you can mingle with other people.
Where do we see this? Tell me. Give me specifics. When do you see this in the movie?
I know for a fact that if I am hanging out with my wife, or if I am going on a picnic with my wife, or if I'm going and reading a book, I am having a blast, which I'm pretty sure you do.
Yeah, and Carl will have a blast with her. Carl will have a lot of fun. You will not.
Anybody will. The first one, you are talking about we're talking about a hypothetical. When we go out, we see maybe about less than 5% of their life because they're very old, but they connect by one climbing across an entire board in an abandoned house when they first meet. Imagine what kind of
child you hang out with a annoying little kid. Okay.
Because he's a kid. Of course they're going to do that. Imagine what they did on the way. Imagine what she would be willing to do with me on the way there. What if you are so she's going to push you to do those things and proven to push you to do those things you've never done. Just because we don't see
When does she do it? Tell me when it happens.
I gave you one example already.
She gives up when she's a kid. After she gives up her dreams. She gives up. She does not do these things.
So having a life and having a wanting to have a family and wanting to do the things that your person wants to do, inspiring somebody to finally be able to, after living an actual life and having just as much fun doing that, because that's how important it is, how great she is. That is not that you're saying that's not going to be fun because
for you.
What she possibly is going to do is not going to allow me to go with her and do something I know she wants to do because she is somebody who works with animals, somebody who loves that works with balloons. What you want to do with her, she is down to do. What we have seen from Barley is condescension. Yes, he is nice, but he's going to continuously to put you in death. His brother almost died twice without him saying anything. The worst I'm going to get is a broken bone and a cool scar.
You're not going to get that with Ellie. Trust me. You're going to be sitting on a chair reading a book.
What we've seen from Barley on screen is him being annoying, him aggravating other people, him being smelly, and him not bringing you in to do anything in this hypothetical where we're going out thinking what we're going to do.
Barley is going to bring you into his world. He's excited for his world, what he loves, and he brings other people into it. He's excited to bring his friend, his brother into it. He's excited to talk about it because he loves those things. And those are the most fun people who love the stuff that they love the things they love, and really want to talk about it and make you part of it. That's what he does. That's why he talks about that, because he wants other people to experience. Barley is fun. Barley is exciting. Ellie, look how quickly she breaks that Paradise Falls jar anytime they need money. Ellie is too responsible. She has too many responsibilities. We see a pretty good chunk of sample size of her life. We never see her not working. We never see her not doing chores or doing things, just hanging out with Carly.
What we're gonna do? She breaks the jar because she knows that they need to be fiscally responsible. As in, Barley,
well, that's fiscal responsibility. Lots of fun.
For you to have
so much fun.
Yes, because it allows you to actually live a life and actually have the opportunity to have fun,
which they never do.
Time. All right. Weird. That was a heated one. We're gonna start with Kirk on this one. Kirk, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
Notice that Carl doesn't get to go on an adventure until after Ellie has passed, because their whole life together. Amaru's making all this other stuff up, but like I said, the Pixar guys are really good at telling stories and give you a lot of information in a short amount of time. And we see a pretty big sample size of our life, and they sit there and do nothing together. They are each other's world entire. They are alone, and they love it. And if you're Carl, it's great. If you're anybody else, you're third wheeling and you're bored as hell. In her adventure book, when she says "Thank you for adventure," the last picture is her staring out a window, literally this. That's her adventure. That's her idea of adventure. That's her idea of fun. Barley is exciting. He's fun. He loves the things he loves. I'm a grown-ass man. I don't need to drive in his car. If he needs me to pay, I'll pay. You know why? Because he's fun. He's fun to be around. He's talking about Ellie being fiscally responsible. That sounds like a lot of fun. Ellie's responsible. She has too many responsibilities. Barley doesn't have any. He's a young guy. He's just out doing what he wants to do, playing games, having a good time. That's what I want to have fun with. Ellie is not fun. She talks about fun when she's a kid and gives up that dream quick.
Time. Okay, we're going to move over to Mr. Moses. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
Kirk wants to be practical. Let's be practical. What if I hate and don't like Quest of Yore? What if I don't like nerdy stuff? I'm automatically going to have a horrible time with Barley. I'm going to have to pay for everything. That's going to get aggravating. He's going to piss off everybody around us. I don't want to deal with that. He's going to piss me off by telling me, how do you not know this thing? Because I don't like it, motherfucker. Leave me the fuck alone. Whereas in Ellie, she makes your wants, your likes, your preferences feel important while sharing things that she also loves. We are not going to know every single thing that all of them does in their lives, but we see Barley be an asshole. We see Ellie being loving and fun in any way that they can, because that adventure book proves, just like the theme of the movie, that any adventure can be anything that the two of you love doing together. And in her death, it was so inspiring that it made him go on those adventures because of her. I'm going to have the most fun with her, because whether or not I like adventures or picnics or books or anything, she is going to have the fiscally responsible ability to do whatever we want, whenever we want, however we want, and I'm not going to feel judged.
Okay. Woo! 'Twas a heated battle.
That was fun.
I want to see the version of Onward where he yells "motherfucker."
Oh man,
I missed that scene.
Good movie. Unlike Up. No offense. Not a fan.
But the part we're talking about is great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, actually, like legit. Actually, yeah.
It's the best short film they have.
Yeah.
Mark, you good?
All right.
Okay. Damn. This was this is what I was hoping for. This was the part of the fight where we're on question 4 or 5. Kirk is down 1, and so he's starting to really rip out the angry Kirk. I love angry Kirk. It makes me so happy. Despite all that, I went with Kirk, and it wasn't just because of the angry Kirk. Kirk's opening to me actually was very weak, and I felt like he was scrambling to tell me things about Barley that sounded remotely interesting. And I thought Rue's opening was very strong, and Rue's closing was also very strong. But Kirk, I thought, played the middle exceptionally well. His argument against Ellie, and I would never vote against an Ellie, except I just did. But other than that, I thought his whole argument against why I don't, again, personally, I don't think he's right, but given the argument and the sentiment, I thought he did a really good job of saying, like, everything we see her do is boring, and for Carl it's great, but for you it's great. And I thought Rue did a good job of kind of flipping that in the closing of being like, we don't see every little nook and cranny, but like there are like there's insinuations that she would be, her being fiscally responsible is a good thing, and here's why. But Kirk kind of pointed out, like, we don't see it, like, ooh, like it's exciting. I think Rue had a good point of kind of being like, if you don't like Quests of Yore, you're going to want to kill yourself. But I think that Kirk did a good job of overall explaining why Barley is adventurous, fun, and can kind of hit that indoor-outdoor demographic. So this was a close one, but I thought Kirk did a really good job in that middle point, and made me give him the point. So, Brian, your thoughts?
I'm sorry, Mark. First of all, you are going to have to cast a vote this time that will count because I voted for Rue.
Oh, there you go.
For me, I think it came down to, I was looking back at the question, which was, which character would you want to spend the time with for fun? The question wasn't about, who was seen on screen having the most fun. So it wasn't a matter of like in the scenes who had the most, but so it came down to the character. Oh, I mean, Kirk too not. It came down to the character, and Rue did a better job of telling me, why Ellie as a person and her personality and what about her would make her the most fun, even if you're, just having a picnic, even if you're just reading books, and all these things. And like Kirk even tried to attack it, saying, that's great if you're Carl. And I'm just thinking, exactly, because if you're Carl, you're the one spending time with her and having fun. So for me, and then when Rue was attacking, talking about Barley being, irresponsible, being condescending, these are all things that just like, you never got that from Ellie. So I think you'd have more fun with her.
All right, Mark. This is weird, Mark. It's question 4, and you're just, I know this is crazy. Go ahead.
No, weird. Okay. Just I was gonna read, but I did go with Kirk. I feel like kind of similar to what Brian said. Looking at the question.
Rue, you want to go another 5 minutes?
God.
It was, imagine what character you would want to spend the most time with. I'm thinking about me. Who would I want to spend the most time with? And I feel like Kirk, I think, presented the more worst case scenario of, I'm a third wheel in this picnic with this married couple, and that sounds awful. Like Barley could be kind of fun, and I also thought it was weird we kept going back to fiscally responsible being like the fun part. I like, okay, I mean, maybe, I don't know, like it just I wasn't with that. Like I feel like Kirk laid out an argument that I don't think it is a good thing that first 15 minutes has like very little dialogue and almost no context. Because I think I feel like if there was more context, Kirk would probably be way off base here. But because of what it is, Kirk's argument, I think, is kind of perfect for describing how Ellie would probably suck to hang out with if you're not Carl.
All right. In an unprecedented move for this evening, Mark has decided a point, and it is 2-2. This is phenomenal. We're getting into the final prep question, which was drafted by Kirk in the category of classics. Your question is, which classic film should be shown to people who want to get into classic films? Kirk, you're starting this. You got 1 minute when you start talking.
I picked Casablanca because you want to start high. You want to start with one of the best. And I think Casablanca is a great movie to introduce people to classic movies because it is a movie that is timeless. I think there are a lot of themes and ideas and characters there that apply and modern audiences will recognize and connect with. But at the same time, it shows you what movies were able to do in their time frame, in the world they were in, and how they were able to explore that space. This being a movie that is about World War II refugees in World War II. I think it is a movie that is going to make you laugh. It's going to make you cry. It's going to make you cheer. It's going to bring your feet. It's going to bring you to the edge of your seat. There's so much here. I think that the fact that it negates so many of the bad things that people think about classic movies, that they're boring, that they're overly simplistic, that they're silly, that they just don't have that edge and that feeling that modern movies do. I think that's what Casablanca does perfectly. I think it's just such a great exploration of world building, of character, of story. There's great music in it. So many great things in this movie. So I think that's no brainer. This is the one you want to start out with.
Time. Okay, we're going to move over to Amaru. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
When showing someone a classic film to get them into classic movies, you want to show them something that will want them to explore more of what they saw and not stop them in their tracks. So I chose Charade, a multi-genre film that highlights some of the best of multiple type of classic films, from thrillers to rom-coms to comedies to some drama, with multiple charismatic stars and a director that they'll easily want to explore once it's done. It's not overly dour and weighty, but the mystery makes it not too easy and cookie cutter like some of the rom-coms you could choose. It has stars that people already know from current time, like James Coburn, George Kennedy, and Walter Matthau. So they're like, oh, I know those guys. They're in classics too. Okay, cool. And then it kicks off with a mysterious death of a body being thrown from a train, energetic music, and kinetic visuals with two of the best classic actors, and the cool personified that is Cary Grant, and the epitome of beautiful charm, Audrey Hepburn, immediately hooking you in and then taking you on a journey of laughs, thrills, twists, name changes, and action that keep you interested the entire runtime. You want to engage somebody with the rest of those people's filmographies and have them begin to look into more of what they're doing, instead of extreme ends of the classic spectrum.
All right, Charade, Casablanca, 5 minute freeform when one of you starts talking.
Rue, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. I know you're not a huge classic movie fan, but Charade is universally referred to as the greatest movie that Alfred Hitchcock never made. So my question to you is, why are you starting off with something that's most famous for being derivative? You could have started off with someone going back, and it hurts your movie because you're talking about how you have these great stars. You have Cary Grant, but you have Cary Grant 20 years past his prime. And that's how you're introducing these people to you. And it hurts the movie because when you have, say, George Kennedy and old man Cary Grant fighting on top of a building, if you have a reference to something like North by Northwest and understand the movie's playing off that, then you can connect with that. If you're coming in blind, you don't know that, you just see this old man getting beat up by George Kennedy, it's kind of sad.
You just said it's derivative of Alfred Hitchcock. It's the best one that he's never made. Great. Now these people want to go see Alfred Hitchcock and see more classic films. If you're saying this is the low point of Cary Grant, which is you're insinuating, and it's amazing and it's entertaining, great. If this is the worst, this high bar, I got nowhere to go but up if I keep going into more classic films. Same thing with Audrey Hepburn. Same thing with Stanley Donen. If you get them in on that level and you're saying it's the worst, there's nowhere to go but up, making them want to get into the better films. That's why you ease them in there. But if you go to Casablanca and you set up all this pressure, this is the greatest movie ever made, this is the high standard for classics, and then you go in like I did and said, yeah, at the end of the movie, that was amazing, but I don't want to go back to that. That was dour. That was kind of boring. That had a lot of lulls. From the flashback of them going back to Paris until the song kickoff, I don't remember a damn thing but Nazis, love stories, and shit I don't care about. I can immediately say it's an amazing movie, but I don't want to continue down that path of dour, weighty. It doesn't make me want to watch anything else.
Your movie doesn't make me watch anything else either. Like I said, I'm getting this old man who's in this relationship with Audrey Hepburn for no reason. There's no chemistry, but there's great chemistry between Bergman and Bogart, where I don't remember, like, there's 18 name changes in your people die, people come. I don't remember anything about your story. Your story's so convoluted, and you said it does a bunch of multi-genres. It doesn't do anything particularly well is the problem. You have it's a rom-com. It's a cute rom-com, so the tension never really ratchets up because you know nothing bad's ever going to happen. Spoiler alert: Walter Matthau is your big bad. I'm not that afraid of Walter Matthau. Where my movie, you do have a great consistent tone, and yeah, it is a little dark. It is a little rough around the edges, but you do have comedy, you do have music, you do have these moments of other things, you have romance, and they all work within the story where yours doesn't. And talking about starting high, yeah, I want to start high. I want them coming back. I don't want to risk showing them something that's not that great, and maybe they won't come back. If they start here and they start looking down around here, maybe they'll find some good stuff here. Maybe they'll go too low, come back up. But there's plenty of great movies up here, and that's the whole point of this. I want them to know what's the great stuff in the stratosphere they can find if they come down here.
But the problem is when you're setting up Casablanca to be the greatest thing ever, and again, you can watch it and say, I understand why it's so great. But this is why I don't watch classic films, because I get too dour and I get too and I get too weighty, and it gets too much of a point where my eyes are glazing over with a lot of the movies afterwards that I've seen these same stories, and it doesn't make me interested in something new. Charade is entertaining as hell. I don't care what you say. There's no way Cary Grant doesn't have a chemistry with anybody. Same with Audrey Hepburn. You have an absolute blast in that scene where Coburn, Kennedy, and Glass come in and do the different things to the dead husband, and you're like, ooh, who is this guy? Ooh, shit, who is this guy? Ooh, shit, who is this guy? Following the name changes, be like, dude, what are you doing? You're laughing. Why is that? Why are you still with him? Oh, because he's Cary Grant and you love him, and you want to see them go see whether or not she's going to continue doing that. You want to see where Walter Matthau comes in, and when it comes all together at the end, you're like, oh shit, all that mystery is coming together great, and it's making you want to go see other things, while Casablanca is going to have me be like, that was great, but that was a letdown, and I don't really want to go through that again.
Okay. If you're most people, again, where you don't like these movies, that's fine. This is you personally, but we're talking about the world in general. If people are going to be let down by Casablanca, they're probably not going to love Charade either. So I want to start out here and see and show them the best and say, hey, and the great thing about Charade, about Casablanca, is that it is this iconic movie they've heard all these things from, and they watch it and it holds up and it's great. And like, oh my God, I'd never got around to this. I heard all this stuff about it, and is that good? What else is this good? Is It's a Wonderful Life this good? Is The Searchers this good? And they'll go explore all these other movies because they see this thing. Again, this is a movie that most people connect with very well, Rue. If you don't like it, that's your personal opinion. But we're talking in general. What movie? I'm willing to bet that the majority of people are going to enjoy this. You have great moments with characters. You have all the different characters in the bars. You have Rick Soriak, you have Ingrid, you have Victor Laszlo, but you also have these minor characters in the bar. Yvette, the refugee. All these characters who come in and you connect with on so many different levels. It's such a great movie. It's no brainer. This is the one to watch.
Okay, we're going to start with Rue for closings. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
Kirk just mentioned something about universally hitting everybody. Mark just voted about my other one because he didn't want to hang out with Ellie and them. I don't want to watch Casablanca again or anything anybody else does. So if I don't, I know a lot of other people aren't going to either. I can recognize its greatness, but I can also recognize I'm not going to want to watch that film and go through the same experience with other classic films and any other things that Bogart or Ingrid or any of them doing. When I watch Charade, I watch how entertaining and charismatic and not spoon-fed like rom-coms, but not dour like Casablanca, those things are. And it's going to make me want to go see Cary Grant movies, go see Audrey Hepburn movies, go see what Stanley Donen can do, see how many more movies the people I know are in. It's going to make me want to go see Alfred Hitchcock now. Thank you, Kirk, because now I know Alfred Hitchcock does movies like that. And if your knock is this is them not doing great, well, I absolutely loved it, and a lot of other people did. So all I can do is go up from there. I want to go see more classic movies after seeing that to get into it. I don't want to see classic movies and others won't after Casablanca.
Okay, let's go over to Kirk. Kirk, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
If a friend of yours tells you that they want to try your favorite food for the first time, you're not going to take them to like a 3-star restaurant down the street that you're not that sure about and be like, don't worry, I'm just starting to, it gets so much better. You are going to take them to the best restaurant you can find that you know, the place that you love, because you want them to experience the absolute pinnacle and the best of what you love. And that's what Casablanca is. Rue's talking, like I said, Charade is so derivative, you need so much more to fully enjoy it. This is like saying, okay, I'm going to dip my toe in horror. What should I watch? Start with Scream. Go to Scream first. And and you can't do that because you're not going to understand that same thing. There's so many references to Hitchcock and so many other things in Charade that you won't fully appreciate. Just this old dour man. And if I see old Cary Grant, I'm like, I don't want to watch any more movies with this weird, creepy old man. I want to see him young. Where with Bogart, you got Bogart in his prime, you got Bergman in her prime. These are two great. It's a great movie, great story. It's the best one you want to watch.
Time. All right. Well, we are done with the prep questions, and gentlemen, you lived up to the hype. Congrats.
Híjole.
Phenomenal.
Good stuff, Kirk.
Thank you, guys. That was incredible. All right. Mark, you look ready. Brian, how you doing?
Yep.
I guess.
Okay. We're gonna kick this off with
Mark.
Very interesting. I think I ended up leaning a little bit more towards Rue on this one. I think I overall just like the argument of this is a funner movie. I think he also did. I feel like he also made the strategic decision of at least picking a movie that has several main people in it who features good performances from like high level people that he can go in and watch. I also like how he at least turned the Hitchcock thing around on quickly. That was a nice go. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this was great. I thought I've seen both these movies. Crazy, I know. And I thought both did a good job of pitching their movie, why their movie is not only a good movie, but also why it would warrant people wanting to see more. And ultimately, the argument that won me over was Rue. I thought that I agree with Mark. His pitch of the more fun movie, the movie that I liked what Kirk was going for in the closing of saying, like, if you're getting like the food analogy, because, well, I'm fat and I love food. So that worked for me. But of being like, you want to start out at the 5-star restaurant or like the big thing. But I thought Rue's argument in his closing was actually a little bit stronger of saying like, oh, I've got this thing that I'm acknowledging is maybe a little bit derivative, but is still phenomenal. And it makes you want to go to things that are even better is a good thing for the genre overall. Yeah, this was kooky. Brian, your thoughts?
Yeah, Kirk almost swayed me in his closing, but I did go for Rue. For me, I just felt like, with a question like this, it's not about, which movie is the best. It's about, which is the most accessible and which you could get people into this genre. And Rue just did a better job of telling me why, his is, more, it keeps people engaged, entertained. Whereas the other one can be a little dour and boring and weighty, as he called it. I know Kirk, at times was talking about, Rue, maybe you just didn't like it. But Rue, I think in this situation, kind of represents the people that aren't already in the classics. So I think it does say something that the way he feels about these kind of things. And he did a good job of portraying that.
Okay. Well, what this means is Rue is up 3-2. And we're going into the bonus round. We are for sure. We're here. Like I said at the beginning, 3-2. I knew that from the beginning. So how this is going to work. I have 2 questions prepared for the bonus round. One from fandom, one from general movies. I randomized which is going to come first, fandom or general movies, and then I randomized the categories without the ones chosen in the main round. So I I am going to say the question. I'm then going to repeat the question for a second time. Once I've repeated the question, you may answer the question. Whoever answers the question first will be going first. You will each get 45 seconds, followed by 30 seconds. Gentlemen, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. The first side of Fanzone that was randomized was fandom. And the category, which I just need to write in here because I forgot to do that, was DC / Worlds of DC. Your question is...
So just let me clarify. This is all DC movies, right?
All DC. It can be Worlds of DC or DC. Yeah.
Okay.
Your question is, what is the best directed Worlds of DC or DC film that is not directed by Christopher Nolan? So again, what is the best directed Worlds of DC or DC movie not directed by Christopher Nolan?
Steel.
God damn it.
V for Vendetta.
Okay.
The Lego Batman movie.
Woo-hoo! Okay, I fucking love this. All right. V for Vendetta versus the Lego Batman movie. I'm going to stay on screen. Kirk, because you spoke first, you're going to be going first. You have 45 seconds when you start talking.
V for Vendetta is low-key a very epic story. This story takes place over the span of a year, covers a lot of activity, a lot of characters, a lot of stories that have to come together. And I think it's so well plotted, so well paced, where each character is given the right amount of time, the right amount of room to tell their story. There are some really fantastic fight scenes, like Wachowski-style fight scenes as the producers, that are really well done. But also there are a lot of quiet moments, a lot of personal moments that are also really done. I think the set design is fantastic. I think everything has come together. The score, the editing. I think it's just a very well built movie, put together, very solid. It's something that really sits with you. It's really a movie you need to rewatch and digest. That's a sign of it being really well directed because it's so dense and there's so much great stuff in it.
Time. Okay, Rue, you have 45 seconds.
It's not enough to say that it is extremely hard to direct an animated movie to make it feel dynamic and energetic and just feel like it's a complete world and built off of that. It's another to do that after the Lego movie already came out and make the Lego Batman movie feel like its own. It is absolutely visually a spectacle. It takes so many different characters, basically all of DC, and puts them together and nobody feels wasted. The director is able to use this Batman and make it completely different from all the other Batmans, but also make all the characters feel completely different, make a story that is cohesive, make a world that is gigantic, make a new story and direct a new story for Joker and Batman that feels new. Everything that is there, the music is amazing, the performances coming out of it is amazing, the visuals are absolutely amazing, the world building is amazing. Everything comes together with such a large, grand thing and makes everything feel important.
Time. Kirk, 30 seconds.
Russo himself, the Lego property had already been done, so I think the blueprint was there. The template was there, so I think it was an easier thing to do to make the Lego Batman movie because you're like, oh yeah, we know how this works, we know the formula, we know how it works. Let's do it all. Let's just throw. And I think it's easier when you have just a bunch of characters. Hey, let's throw every DC character. Okay, we use all DC characters. Let's throw every Warner Brothers property in there. Where V for Vendetta was a little known, unknown property that they really took and made their own and made a great film out of with all the different aspects of directing.
Time. Rue, 30 seconds.
It's easier to make the crap Lego Ninjago movie after than an amazing Batman movie and make you forget about the other one. The problem with V for Vendetta, it's two different movies. The movie that you feel just like Evie when she's trapped inside is a movie that takes you completely out of the one that was happening, pauses it, makes you be trapped inside with Evie in that prison for a completely different movie, not as dark as everything that is dark on dark and dark, and then resumes it after, and it stops everything. It makes it feel choppy. It makes you feel like, wow, I can take that whole other movie out and put the other V for Vendetta in and still have a great movie.
Oh my Lord. Okay.
Can we have another minute, please?
Yeah. Like for real. Yep. Okay. Brian looks like he's still thinking. Mark, you good? Okay.
Talking about Trivia Jeopardy, all I have in my head is the Jeopardy music now.
Yeah, that's fair. We did not use that music in the making of our Fandom Jeopardy episode, for we did not want to get copyright struck. Okay. I believe we are on to Brian to start.
Yeah. I'm having a real hard time judging this one. I felt like there was very little talk of direction. In Kirk's opening, he was talking about set design. He was talking about the Wachowski action because they were producers and all those other things. And then he kind of wraps up with it. And then, with all the different aspects of directing. And I didn't hear a lot about what the director was doing there. So I thought, okay, he was off to a rough start. But then Rue kind of did the same thing. He started talking about the music and these other aspects, that, they weren't necessarily about the directing of the movie. So yeah, I was kind of grasping at what to latch on to, and I think this overall Kirk gave me a little bit more.
Okay, Mark.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really worry about that side of it too much. The director's the captain of the ship. I think everything is kind of baked in the cake, like when we're talking about directing on that end. I did end up going with Kirk. I feel like he kind of made the argument that I think you kind of needed to make for V for Vendetta here. I think I liked how Rue at least built up the Lego Batman movie. I do think on that level, Kirk just kind of tore it down. I think kind of pinpointed. I think a lot of where the kind of the easy things at least talk about, at least Lego Batman movie, at least the issues of it. So yeah, I ended up going with Kirk.
All right. Well, even without my vote, we are the furthest in a title match we've been in a long time. I voted for Rue. Rue had me convinced with the. I actually agree with Brian. I thought a lot of that. Mark makes a good point that they're the captain of the ship, so all that stuff is kind of baked in. But prior to hearing Mark's comment, my thought was like, what is the director specifically doing? And I thought that Rue had a really good hit bringing up the Ninjago movie of being like, listen, you can have the blueprint of the first Lego movie and it can still be shit. Like the director for this one made it work. And I thought that his arguments against V for Vendetta being kind of feeling like two separate movies was super strong. So surprised nobody brought up the fact that the guy who was credited as directing that movie basically didn't direct it, but we are here anyway. So this is it. We're moving on to the final question of the match. It's obviously from General Movies. This is nuts. The question is, in the category of action adventure. The question is, what is the best non-fandom adventure film? So again, what is the best non-fandom adventure film?
So non-fandom, we got like 4 to pick from, so they should be easy.
I'm gonna go with The Princess Bride.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with E.T.
Okay.
You guys are killing me here.
Yeah, literally. All right. I'm going to stay on screen. Rue, you're kicking us off. Princess Bride, 45 seconds. Whenever you start talking, what is the best non-fandom adventure film?
My film has everything from adventure and world building with Dread Pirate Roberts and the kingdom of and the kingdom that they're in action with swords, with swamps, with battles of wits, with the great story beforehand bringing you in. It has absolutely amazing performances from the grandfather to Carrie Elways to Andre the Giant to everybody in that film, and memorable characters and memorable quotes that you never forget and you always absolutely love. Whether it's from Bye Bye Boys to As You Wish to Fezzik and his voice, to Inigo Montoya, You Kill My Father, Prepare to Die. Anything you want in an adventure film, that has it at its absolute best. You love everything about it. It's rewatchable. It has love. It has action. It has story. It has characters. It has absolutely everything you absolutely love to keep you intrigued all the time.
Kirk, 45 seconds.
I think the greatest adventure movies are wish fulfillment. I think that's why E.T. is the ultimate childhood wish fulfillment movie, where you're the shy kid, you really don't have much going in your life, and you find this magic alien who becomes not only your best friend, you have a friend now you connect to and be with, but also that you can go on these magical adventures with. He has his magical powers, your bikes fly, you go on not only like supernatural sci-fi adventures, but also just adventures to your neighborhood, running from police and your parents and hide and having that power. I think there's a lot of different levels of adventure to E.T. It's not just like the high fantasy stuff and the sci-fi stuff. It's also just the adventure of having this alien, hiding this alien, trying to figure out what you're going to do with it, trying to get him home. I think there's a lot of aspects to this movie that is so much fun, and I think it's just a great grounded adventure that you could relate to a lot more.
Time. All right, Rue, 30 seconds.
Every wish you ever wanted will be granted in The Princess Bride. Whether it's a revenge wish, a love wish, a connection to your grandfather wish, ending a marriage that doesn't need to be happening wish, all that gets done with great performances, characters, quotables in The Princess Bride. In E.T., the kid is extremely annoying. The police are extremely stupid. The family dynamic gets really repetitive. So that wish fulfillment adventure you're going on, I want to get off really quick, or I want to hurry up and get on the bike and go over the moon, because I am sitting there like, this is so stale. This is so cheesy. This is so repetitive. I don't like any of this, and this is an overhyped as hell movie.
Time. Kirk, 30 seconds.
My wishes aren't going to be fulfilled in Princess Bride because there's so much going on. It's all very like derivative. Like, hey, here's a fantasy sword fight, here's a fantasy swamp, and you get like quick little sound bites of fantasy things, but you don't get that deep into it. Where E.T. deeply explores this world and these characters. I think you have so many great moments. You have the flying over the moon. You have this goodbye scene. You have Gertie seeing him for the first time. So many great memorable moments in this movie. I think the kids are relatable. I don't think they're annoying. I think there's just so much in this movie that's deeper than Princess Bride. And also, I forgot to mention the great John Williams score that just tops all off.
Time.
Oh boy!
Shit. Good stuff, Kirk. Really good stuff.
You ever wish you just had like 5 more seconds? Just give you 5 more seconds. I got 1 more sentence.
Yeah. And then my big thing is always, do I go first or do I go second?
Yeah.
Because, pros and cons.
I was always like, if I go first, then I can be working on my argument while they're still thinking. But then you don't get to respond to them at the end. So, yeah, there's that.
Okay. Brian, you look ready. Mark, are you good?
Yeah.
Maybe the closest fight of the night. I don't know. 2 classics. Great picks that didn't even pop into my mind when I wrote the question. So these 2 are phenomenal. I think both arguments made are worthy of a point, which sucks because I got to pick one. That's why it took me so long. Kirk really hammered home the friendship, the adventure, the deeper themes, but also the fun, the childlike fun of the movie. And Rue kind of just talked about he's got it all in spades. You got the love story, you got the grandfather grandson relationship, you've got the action, you've got the comedy, you've got it all in his movie. Ultimately, the argument that kind of won me out was Rue's. The more is not always better. But I think Rue's argument of Princess Bride is the better movie because it hits all of those fulfillments you want, not only in just films, but in adventure movies. Hit. Whereas Kirk's positives hit too. But I feel like Rue kind of knocked, like the kid is annoying, like there's not much going on. Like I just like a lot of the movie is waiting around to get to the end, to the flying to the moon part. Kirk's follow-up to that was, well, I've got the flying across the moon bit, and the ending, the goodbye is really special, which is, I agree, is. But I think Rue was able to kind of point out why from beginning to end throughout the movie, all these different things kind of hit. Whereas Kirk's, I don't agree. I think E.T. is kind of a perfect movie, but where it only hits like specifically towards the end. So that was really hard for me to decide and kind of articulate. So Brian, your thoughts?
They're both perfect movies. So when they named them, I was like, fuck you both, because I have to listen to you guys. Well, that's why I think they both very smartly spend the vast majority of their time on the positives of their own film, because when they did attack the other person's film, I thought none of those attacks worked, because I think even they knew they didn't believe those attacks. Because they're really good films. Yeah, I it's so hard because it was so good. I think just the person that told me that it was a more complete film, had a little bit more going for it, and your winner.
Wow. Mark, your vote doesn't count. Where would you have gone and why?
Clean sweep.
Wow.
Also had a root in this one. I think kind of what the point that Tim brought up, I think before, of I think kind of the totality of kind of everything that is The Princess Bride. I think all of those aspects, I think, is kind of what most people would think of what a kind of complete adventure film has. And I feel like as Rue is describing it, I think this is what I would want to see in an adventure film, is everything that The Princess Bride brings to the table.
Okay, well, that means your winner and new Fanzone debate champion, Amaru Moses. I'm going to let the competitors kind of chillax for a minute. Damn, this was crazy. Mark, what are your initial thoughts coming out of this one as the belt changes hands? And you take a delicious sip of what I'm only assuming is vodka.
No, very watered down Dr. Pepper. I needed something though. This is a very good match. I think it's interesting because I feel like we got off kind of like on this we like weirdish foot. We get to the point where like we get to where somebody's losing, and honestly, I think at least as far as entertainment value, the best possible version of that happened. Kirk goes down 2-1, because every time Kirk goes down 2-1, he just like he becomes like this feral animal that's backed into a corner, and he just goes crazy for a couple of rounds, which it honestly kind of helped him like get right back into this game. He fortunately did kind of drop that one classic thing, but he was able to get the point off of Fandom, which I feel like anybody watching that thing, I mean, if we're going to start off with Fandom, I think Rue's got the leg up on that one. He's able to come away with that. So, no, very as advertised. I think also today, just Rue played probably one of his best debates that we've seen. Good, and it's brought him home the belt.
Yeah. All right. Before we talk to Brian and get his final thoughts, we're going to talk to some of the players. The two players. We're going to start with Kirk. Kirk, insane, man. Great match. It's been a really long time since we've seen you pushed to the absolute limit, to the final question that's humanly possible. And I think, like you said in your opening, Rue is a worthy champ. We'll talk to him about that in a bit. But obviously, you're a Hall of Famer. You obviously have held this belt multiple times and have the most wins by far on any record in the league. So I don't think this is necessarily a notch in your or a negative in the realm of Kirk Kowalkowski, but I'm just curious, does this one sting, or are you, like you said, are you happy for your friend Rue? Like, kind of what is your thought process coming out of this one?
I'm very happy for Rue. He deserves this, and congratulations to him. Absolutely, he played a great game. And the thing is, I'm proud of Rue because he just kept chipping away. He said something about changing. He really didn't change his game. He played his game, and he just chipped away and chipped away. And I'm not talking about just matches. I'm talking about the 4 matches we've had. He's gotten closer and closer every time. And he's figured it out. And that's what came down to. He played his game better than I did today. So yeah, just post-mortem on this match. The Mike Epps question, I knew that was a long shot for me to begin with. the classics. I left a lot of stuff on the table there. When we were done, I was looking at my notes, and there was stuff that I could have said that counteracted the reason you guys gave him the point. So that's on me. Star Trek, I think you guys had me muted because I don't know how I lost that point, but that's but that's yeah. I mean, like I said, it's about Rue right now, and he's fought hard. And if I'm going to lose to somebody, that's who I want to lose to. And this is why I wanted to be here, because I wanted to give him this opportunity. I wanted to play him again. And if he was going to win the title, I didn't want to lose to somebody and then Rue come and win it from somebody else. I knew that'd be a little hollow for him. So I'm happy for him that he got to win it from me. And yeah, I think this is great for the league. I think it's obviously great for Rue. And yeah, it's never fun to lose, especially when you go back and you either disagree with the judges or you just realize there's more you could have. Even with that, when he said Princess Bride, I'm like, oh no, how am I going to beat that? And if I had a little prep time, I might have come up with an argument for ET to beat that, and I was trying to formulate it as I was talking, but it was just too much to overcome. So it is what it is. Congratulations for a great match.
Kirk, you've had an incredible season, nonetheless, an incredible reign as the champ. This does end your season in Fanzone Debate. We won't see you again until next season, barring that you still want to return. So I hope you do. If you come back, which again I hope you do, but what are you looking forward to? Are you looking forward to some more relaxed non-title matches, or are you full steam ahead going back for the title? Like what is your kind of thought process approach immediately after this?
Well, on 3 defenses, I have the automatic rematch, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is your choice to use if you don't want to use it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Full disclosure, I was thinking about taking a step away for a while. But with a title match in my back pocket that feels kind of disrespectful, let that go to waste. So you and I will have to have a conversation in the offseason.
It's been done before. Cody had 3 defenses and he did not use the automatic. So it is 100%.
Oh, if I come back, I'm using it. I'm definitely using it.
Oh,
it's just a matter of what I did, where we go from here. So like I said, we'll talk.
Yeah, we can discuss that. Kirk, congrats on the match, well played. I think this was one of your, even though it ended in the loss, I think it still was one of the best matches you've ever been a part of. It was an incredible match. So thanks for being here. Thanks for putting everything you put into the game. It is much appreciated. So we are going to move over to our winner and the new champion, Amaru Moses. Rue, it happened. You did it.
Finally.
God damn. What are you feeling, man? You gotta just feel awesome right now.
Relief, absolute relief. First and foremost, and for a while, Kirk has been probably the best champion, one of the best champions. He is one of the reasons I keep doing this. Just knowing I could beat him, but having been able to do so because he is that good of a competitor has just put a fire under me to keep coming back and keep doing it and keep going and learning from him and learning like how to attack questions and how to attack defenses. And just trying to think about what he's going to say. Like that has really fueled like almost every debate. If I was debating Kirk, what would Kirk say that I have to think about? And even then, when that happened, when we come to the match, he comes with something I didn't expect, even though I'm prepping for what he's saying. And it's like, shit, now I have to think on the fly for that. And like, I just want to thank him. He's always said it, but he has been one of the first people I met in this community and has just been in my corner from the beginning. He's one of my favorite people here, one of my favorite people to play against. And across both this and multiplex, I think we have 2 of the best matches of the year. One a complete demolishing, but it was his perfect game. And then the closest you could ever get to a match here, -1 vote, I guess. Mark, would you vote? Oh yeah, you gave me the scream sweep, so it didn't fucking matter. So thank you, Kirk, for all you've done for this, for all you've done in terms of our 4th match. Hell yeah, you better use that title match because I plan on being here when we do this again. To the match itself, the only thing I changed was I decided to actually prep my openings this time. Like I've been going in not prepping my openings and just completely carefree. And I was like, you know what? I want to make sure I don't leave anything off the board in the opening and then go from there. That was the one thing I was like, let me just do that, because I stopped doing that after a while. And it helped. The only one I didn't prep was Star Trek. Funnily enough, I didn't prep that opening. I didn't write that opening. I didn't write it. I prep all of them, but I actually wrote them down so I don't have to like run out of time with the millions of miles per hour shit I say with my openings. And then I was this close to get ready to say, how the fuck did I lose that Pixar question? I have no fucking idea, but it doesn't matter. I have the belt, so it's okay. I'm good. I am extremely happy. I'm extremely relieved. And yeah, I'm ready to hopefully defend this one.
Yeah, and we know some of the names that are going to be coming at you in this next title picture. Would you care to know them?
Yes, I would.
Okay, all right. So here are some of the possibilities. You've got your team partner, Jacoby Bancroft. You've got Robert Kastner. You've got newcomer Javi Madden. You've got Jack Pinchuk, Joe Farrelly, Adelaide Spence, Alex Martinez. Any of these names sticking out to you?
Yes, one name that I was going to answer right away that I don't hear, it's that man, because that's the man I want to play. So whenever I'm going to beat whoever comes, so I can then play him if Kirk is not playing, then I can beat him if he is still debating, and then go get Kirk again. That's the goal. Give me my 3 defenses right there. But since I didn't hear Brian's name, you said Jacoby, and I heard nobody else.
That's fair.
Because you also didn't say Nazario, because I need my revenge against him.
Yeah, he's not in this game.
I want Jacoby. I definitely want Jacoby. That is my guy.
That would be very fun.
I beat him last time after going down 2-0, and I know that it is a hard thing to beat Jacoby. So I would love for that to be another wrong side of the river civil war, maybe the 50th one y'all have seen this year on this channel.
Beautiful. Love it. Rue, congrats on winning the belt and becoming the newest Fanzone debate champion. Very proud of you, and can't wait to see you at the final act when we see it. It's gonna be epic. So congrats, Rue. And we're gonna get final thoughts from Brian. Brian, do you have anything you wanna add, cherry on top?
No, I just it was an excellent match, lived up to everything we expected. Rue clearly came in here, motivated to get over that hump and beat Kirk. I think as happy as I am for him, I don't envy him, because I was going to say if Kirk gets back to a title match, which is probably inevitable, but I didn't realize he already had just a free one right there. So he is coming back at some point for a title match. Because let's be honest, even if Kirk steps away, he's not away for good. He's coming back. Let's be honest. He can't stay away from arguing with people. That's what he does. Kirk's going to come back. And it's scary, because not even just because he's like, he lost and wants to like get it back. It's not even a title thing. I think that when Kirk isn't champion and he doesn't feel the pressure, I actually think he's even better, which is scary, because we've seen how good he is when he is champion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, because he took the title from me, so he didn't have the pressure there to keep it. So obviously I witnessed it firsthand. So I don't envy him. But yeah. Great performance by both of them, but I'm glad to see Rue finally get over that hump.
Yeah, it's I can't wait to see what happens with Rue at the end of the year. Like I said, to Rue, we got a lot of great players coming up, and next week we're going to see the start of that title picture as Jacoby Bancroft takes on Robert Kastner. So I look forward to it. Thank you so much to Mark and Brian for helping run this thing and host this thing with me. Thank you to Kirk and Amaru for putting their time and effort into this. Really appreciate it. And thank you to everyone for watching. Be sure to check out the next episode next week. All the stuff going around here at TBNT. Until then, we'll see you next time. Have a good night. Bye.
There we go. Thanks a lot. Come again.
Hey, I won't forget what you've done for me here today.
I would prefer that you do.